Yeah, so many, you guys, you're vibing very high, which is what you want. Like you vibrate on that good frequency and track all of these amazing things to you. I love it.
Yep.
Aw,
Let go of the things
that
don't serve you, don't bring you peace, don't bring you the happiness, and just let them go.
Exactly.
And others come into play.
Yeah, you gotta make room. You have to make room and put out the frequency that you want to vibrate on. That's what I believe, you know?
Yeah.
So.
I love it.
Guess what, guys?
We're not doctors.
No, we are not.
If you're going to be making any major medical decisions, please consult your doctor.
That includes diets, exercise, medications, and surgery.
We love you guys.
And we want you to continue to be in our OSLP family forever.
So be careful and consult your doctors. Have you heard of ProCare, or just have you been living under a rock?
ProCare is the very first bariatric multivitamin to develop a one-a-day vitamin. That's right, you heard it correctly, one a day. And they also have delicious dark chocolate calciums that are available during the winter months.
That's right. So go to procarenow.com, get your calcium chews, get your multivitamin, and use OSLP for a discount.
Are you feeling a little sluggish? Little lack of protein? Little lack of caffeine? Well, we got the fix for that.
That's right. Dive Bar Nutrition has the best protein bars. They have caffeine, protein, and they taste delicious.
So head on over to divebarnutrition.com and use code OSLP at checkout.
Are you located in the Florida area?
Well, we have the perfect office for you. Dr. Fridley and his wife, Macy, have created the perfect, welcoming, and safe place for your bariatric journey.
That's right. So click on the link below to start your weight loss journey now. And don't forget to tell them that the OSLP's girls sent you.
Welcome back, OSLP family. Welcome back, OSLP family.
Welcome, welcome.
You are listening to Our Sleeve Life podcast, and this is Kelly.
This is Maha.
And oh my God, that was excessive. That was
Guess what?
excessive.
I don't hear any buzzing in my ears.
I don't either. Yay.
Guys, we have new headsets. We have some new gear.
I don't have new headsets
and
yet.
it works.
I will.
You will.
Very
I have
soon.
one.
She has gold on her fucking headphones, and I don't.
know.
Like, it's bullshit. Mine's silver. I don't like it.
It's so funny
I'm the
because
gold
she
freak.
loves gold.
I love gold.
But I got the upgrade.
She got the
Mine
upgrade.
broke. Mine
It's-
broke. I got the upgrade.
It's fine. I'm
how
getting
this
a new set. She gets something, and then I'm like, I want it. So that's what happened. Anyways, so on the website,
yes.
oursleevelifepodcast.com. So there's so many goodies on there, but the first thing you want to do is when that special screen pops up,
Even
and it
on your
says,
phone.
do you want to be added to the subscriber list? You push yes, and you put your email in.
You want to know why? Because you get updates on us. Like, we're going to be touring this year.
Mhm.
You know who gets to know first? The people that subscribe.
Yep.
That's right. And they get a free ebook that goes along
You
with
get the
it.
free ebook. Then you get all of these other newsletters that come out. There's 2 a week. One is kind of like get to know us, different things we're doing, different things we can add to your bariatric life. The other one is a reminder that we have new episodes out every Tuesday.
Yes.
So make sure to download those new episodes. And then also on the website, we rebranded.
We did.
And that means all new merch. So all the old stuff has been taken off the website. We only have the new stuff. We do have a sticker sheet though, that is the evolution of OSLP, and it gives you access to all of our logos that we have had throughout the almost 4 years we've been doing this. Plus, there is in the digital download section is a habit tracker designed by us, because we don't want to make it just like a protein challenge or a water challenge, because everything's more important, or everything's important in a bariatric life. So we created the habit tracker, and it is the pillar habit tracker. The pillars of a bariatric life is water, protein, vitamins, sleep, and
movement.
And we also have a way for you to gauge your mood.
Mhm.
There are journal pages. Like, you definitely want to get this digital download. You can use it on your iPad, on your phone. You can print it out and make it into a book. Whatever you need, you can do it with
Well,
this.
and guys, if you don't know what to write about for your journal in there, we have journal prompts that come out in the newsletters.
Yep.
So see what
Every
we did
week.
there? We kind of tied it all so you guys can have all the access, all the resources to help yourselves.
Correct.
And on our website, there is a little button that says become a
At the top.
patron, which is very valuable to us. It helps us, one, keep the podcast
Do what we're
going,
doing.
keep the lights on, and get us out on the road so we can come hang out with you.
Mhm.
And we love the $10 tier. I think it's called the Winner Circle. Is that correct?
Champions.
Oh, it's the champions. We did Kelly even upgraded those things.
I did.
She went through a monster of an upgrade, which is really cool though, because that habit tracker, if you become a $10 patron, then you actually get a 50% off on that tracker.
Yep. And you get access to our Facebook support group. It's not one of those Facebook support groups that you're thinking of. This one is supportive. If you aren't supportive, we will personally kick you out, because that's what we're there for, is to support each other.
I've done it.
You have done it, and we will do it again. So we bring people in. We have over 200 people in this support group that all support one another. And you can be a lurker. You can just read everything.
Fine.
Yeah,
it's
that's
helpful because you're getting all the resources.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but we have a lot of people that will respond to your questions, your comments. If you're having problems with within your life, if you're having something traumatic happen, you can always come in and hang out with us and get some support.
Yeah, because we're there all the time.
Mhm.
We even have men in the actual support group too.
Yes.
We have the range of literally like I think 24 all the way up to in the 60s. So
Mhm.
just understand if you need something to help, like if you need help with something, someone in there is going to be able to help you with it.
Correct.
And if not, me and Kelly will literally use all the resources we can use to help you.
Because that's what we do.
That's literally what you do.
Now, the last thing you can do, and this is a free way to support us, because
Free.
we know that not everybody can support us monetarily. Go to YouTube, put in Our Sleep Life Podcast. We are the only ones. Now hit the little bell and the subscribe button so you're notified when future videos like this one drop. Now, the episode that we have for you today, so stoked. We met for the first time at the retreat. Now, I have been following her since the beginning of my journey.
Yes, you
So
have. You sent me her.
I did on
Yeah.
several accounts. And I was so excited to meet her in person. And she's just the same gentle, amazing soul in person as she is online. So welcome on, Theresa. She is Transforming Theresa Marie on Instagram.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Hello.
Of course. We are so excited to hear about all your story, like your journey so far. And it's been 6 years, correct?
Yeah. Yes,
Oh,
6 years.
wow.
I
Yes.
know.
I thought you've been in it longer than I have.
No.
Damn. That's
So
right.
I'll
We're
be
only 2
6
years
years
apart.
post-op in June. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow. So
Okay.
you're in your 5th year.
So,
Yeah, I'm in,
wow. I want to go all the way back to begin.
From the beginning.
From the
because
beginning.
We only got 15 minutes of you.
Yes.
Right.
I think we got a little
Really,
bit.
it was 30, but it also was shared with Tanya, which Taking My Life Back at 40.
Her episode is out right now. Go listen to it.
They are great friends. They're so much fun. So you have to look at our stuff with that.
Yeah.
But yes, Theresa, tell us
Where did all this start?
Because mine was when I was a baby. I was a big kid my whole life.
Yeah. So I grew up in a household where eating disorders were the norm. My mom suffered from anorexia and my dad bulimia. So
Wow.
from a very young age, I learned to either like binge or totally restrict.
Wow.
I was chubby by the age of 5. I was put on diets by the time I was like 6 and 7. It was a big deal. Like my weight was like put on the calendar in the household for everyone to see. Like my mom, I don't think she meant like harm looking back now, but I mean, she used to tell me like, you're really fat. You're a pretty girl, but you're never going to be beautiful because you're fat. Like she would tell me, I'm so glad that you have skinny friends to bring over so I can play dress up with them. Like her own body image was really poor. And so she projected that onto me.
And that's how it works, unfortunately.
It does, right? Unfortunately. And I grew up in a household where there was a lot of tension and stress. And so I used food for comfort. I started like sneaking food. Probably I remember at like 8 and 9 years old. And by the time I was in junior high and high school, I was a big girl. I was the biggest girl in my class. At that time, though, I still was able to do all the things. Like I would go to the beach. I was, was like a skater with my friends. Like I did all those things. But it wasn't until like my early 20s when my younger brother, we were like twin souls. He committed suicide. And
I'm so sorry.
thank you. I'm okay now. It's been 20 plus years, but it really affected me. At the time, he was not well. And when he passed away, he wrote a note to me and kind of blamed me for his death. And I internalized that and I believed it. And so I completely withdrew myself from the world. I went from hanging out at like music studios and going to concerts every weekend and living this big, huge life to completely isolating myself. I pulled away from all of my family and friends. And I would cry every day because I felt responsible for my little brother committing suicide. And obviously, having gone through therapy now and a lot of self-reflection, I know it wasn't my fault. He was broken. He was an addict. He was gay and had been beaten up like days before he died. So it was like a very traumatic thing.
Yeah.
But with anything like that, with suicide, there's a lot of blame that goes around. And within a few years, my mom also took her own life. And that hit me even harder. So within a few years of my brother passing, I put on like 400 pounds. Right when he died, I was at my healthiest. I was jogging for the first time. I was like tan and fit. And I really went into this mindset of I don't deserve anything. I don't deserve to be alive. I don't deserve to have fun anymore because they weren't there with me. And I felt that both of their deaths were my fault because my mom had spiraled after my brother died. So I kind of blamed myself for everything. Within a few years, I found myself weighing over 600 pounds. I struggled to literally stand, like even walking across the house was difficult. I lived 4 blocks from the beach and I would literally sit at the window in my chair and I would watch people all day long, like walking, running, biking with family, going out on dates, doing all these things. And I felt like an empty shell for most of my life. I just was very depressed. I cried all the time. I could not pull myself out of it. I went through periods of time where I tried to diet and lose weight. I would do a fad diet. I would do some exercise. I would drop 100 pounds. Something would happen and trigger me. And then I would stop that and I would gain it all back, anytime we engage in anything that's not sustainable for our lives, when it comes to weight loss or anything, you tend to gain it back.
You do.
Yeah. And I was not working on my mental and emotional health. I would just tackle diet and exercise because when you're fat or obese, all anybody tells you is you need to eat less and you need to move more, right? They don't address the mental and emotional stuff. So I was approaching 40. I had had 2 heart attacks.
Whoa.
I was on 9 different medications. I had problems with endometriosis, with my kidneys, with my heart, with my spine, like you name it. I was having horrible problems. And my doctors basically told me, you will not live to see the age of 45 if you don't do something. And for a while, I didn't do anything. I went home and I kept binge eating and I kept isolating. But I got hooked up with this cardiologist who practiced different spiritual practices. I did not know this when I met her, but when I walked into her office, she didn't do like every other doctor always had done and just look at me and say, you're huge and fat, you eat too much and you need to move. She walked in, made eye contact with me, and literally asked me what happened in my life to make me want to kill myself. She said, you're killing yourself. You're over 600 pounds. She says, I can look at you and I can tell that there's something weighing on you. What happened? No doctor
what is it?
had ever, it gives me goosebumps even thinking about it. No one had ever asked me that. I broke down in her office. I cried and I told her what had happened. She literally, this cardiologist wipes my tears away and she says, this is my prescription for you. She tells me first, you're a person who manifests their grief and trauma in the form of physical weight. She said, you're a very powerful manifester. You removed yourself from the world and you have punished yourself long enough. She said, so I want you to leave my office. Yeah, it was very powerful. She said, I want you to leave my office and I want you to learn how to meditate. I want you to journal. I want you to practice visualization. I want you to, with intention, release the grief and trauma and the pain that you've been carrying around with you.
Wow.
She said, it's not only spiritual and emotional pain that you're carrying, you've transformed it into physical pain, and you will die if you don't do something.
Right.
That was the very first time I ever interacted with a medical doctor and left their office feeling inspired and motivated rather than feeling ashamed and embarrassed, which I was those things because at over 600 pounds, I struggled to even get from the door to the car.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? There's always that side of it, but she didn't even mention it. She didn't even tell me to diet. She didn't tell me to exercise. She literally told me, I want you to leave and I want you to work on healing your emotional mindset. And that's what I did. I left her office feeling inspired, and I started like having an inner dialogue with I call her my inner fat bitch, but my inner fat brain.
Yeah.
And I started to acknowledge that for me, my inner fat bitch, she was the recipient of all the trauma. She's the one that absorbed it all the grief, all the trauma, all the times people threw food at me or called me names or made me feel bad or I was abused or anything. She was the recipient of that. And it was like she had taken hold of my life and was like holding this version that you guys see now was always in there. But like,
Yeah.
I felt like she was buried or like I was holding her hostage. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
I do. I have
literally,
questions.
yeah,
I have
please go ahead.
questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So how old were you when your brother passed?
I had just turned 22 when my brother died.
Wow.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so then you were 25 when your mom passed
Yeah. Hmm.
and took her life. So then it took you how many years to get up to 600?
About probably 4 or 5 years, maybe. I
Okay.
was at least, I didn't weigh often. You know how that goes when you're that
Oh,
big,
yeah,
you
no.
don't weigh. But I, within 2 years, became almost completely disabled. Like I didn't even
Wow.
sleep in a bed anymore. I had to sleep in a recliner because I couldn't breathe. I stopped participating in any weddings, graduations, birthdays, holidays, nothing. Like I literally retracted from the world and pulled back and physically was struggling to even, I couldn't stand anymore. So like brushing my teeth, doing dishes, doing household chores, showering, I had to do everything while I was seated. Standing was almost impossible for me.
Oh my goodness. I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah. Well,
Like you can.
I can.
You've
I
had that.
can.
where-
I feel you on that so hard. And it's funny because when we met you at retreat, you and I are so alike. We have
Yeah.
so many commonalities between
Yes.
us. And not being able to stand. I mean, I had such bad body pain from my autoimmune diseases that you feel trapped. Like
Yes.
I remember I couldn't even stand to do dishes. Like
Yes. I had to sit.
yeah. I mean, I just couldn't do it. And so
Yeah.
I didn't even sit because it was like I couldn't like
It was
luckily
like
I was
hard.
married at that point.
Yeah.
And so he kind of took over that
Yeah.
that
Took care
part of it.
that, yeah.
But yeah, I can feel you. It's isolating. Like
Yes.
you isolated yourself.
Yeah.
But then the weight isolates you in another different way. Like it's no longer your choice.
Mhm.
Yes, you become physically incapable. And I also had to live with family. Family lived with me because I couldn't even put my socks and shoes on. Like my
Yeah.
sister, after my mom died, like I took in my sister, my brother, and I raised them. Like I helped to raise them. My sister was 12 at the time, but I was very
Wow.
broken. Like I should not have been raising kids and doing all of that. I
No.
couldn't even take care of myself. I was very broken. But I had to have family help me do those things. I literally could not take off my shoes and socks. I could not go and get groceries. I couldn't do any of those things. I was fully dependent on other people to keep me alive.
Oh my God.
Did they ever, like try to get you help or talk to you about it or anything like
They
that?
did. And I would get angry as a defense mechanism and I would cry. And they didn't want to cause me more pain because they already saw how hard everything was on me, and how much I beat myself up over it. And in a weird way, I didn't think that people could see all of that. I thought that I hid it very well, but I didn't. When I look back now at pictures of me at 600 pounds, I'm like, it takes my breath away because I can feel the pain that I was exuding. Like people saw that, and I would react defensively because I was terrified to even scratch the surface. I didn't know how to process that grief and that trauma. And I didn't have a support system that knew how to handle that and to help me in the ways in which I needed. So
Yeah.
it was like we all maintained it together, you know, until I finally started to break the cycle.
Yeah. I feel like when you get to that point, you're at your top, you can't move, you need help.
Yeah.
You're only thinking about all the other times you failed
Yes.
and all of the other things of like why I can't do this. I can't do this because I can't even walk to my room or walk to my bathroom. Why would I think that I could lose weight and be healthy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why
Yeah.
should, and you blame yourself, but
Yeah.
I blame myself internally. I
Yeah.
was very much I'm not going to talk about it, but then you get angry when other people bring it up because you're like, well, I can't do that. Like
Yes.
I can't do that.
Yeah, I hyper focused. I like to talk about the fact that, and you guys will probably relate to this, when you lay down at night to go to bed, you are alone in your mind with your thoughts. And
Yes.
I was so cruel to myself. I mean, horribly verbally abusive to myself. I tore myself apart every single day, and I hyper focused on barriers, on obstacles. Like you said, I can't even stand, I can't walk. How do they expect me to go to the doctor when I can't even get into a car?
Right.
And one thing that really started to shift after I met that doctor was that I started to very slowly, and it took me hundreds of times a day, replace the negative thoughts and focusing on the barriers to focusing on possibilities. So
Yes.
okay, I'm over 600 pounds. I can't go for a walk right now, but what I can do is I can stand up at my bedside and fold the laundry. I can try to do that. That's going to be really hard. And it was for me, but I can do that. So I would start to challenge my inner fat bitch because she was horrible to me, screaming at me nonstop, telling me what a failure I was, telling me how awful I was doing, how I couldn't eat right. I didn't drink water. I didn't move that day. I started challenging her on a constant basis. I came up with like this little caricature of her in my mind, almost like my inner fat bitch. Like, and then I started at the same time while challenging myself to focus on possibilities and positivity. I also started to manifest and create this vision of me that you guys see now. This person who is happy, who is healthy, who moves with ease, who puts light out into the world. I didn't know how to have them coexist. I literally had to create that person in my mind because existing in a 600-pound body and a 600-pound mindset was too painful for me.
Yeah.
It was so hard. When I would go out in public, I tell the story when I was trying to walk for the first time. A group of young men drove by me and they were oinking at me and honking and threw their in and out, like their burger and milkshakes all over me. When I would go out in public in stores, people feel very empowered to comment on obese bodies in our society. We are taught to criminalize people who are obese. It's their fault. Nobody stopped to ask me ever, except for that doctor, what happened. And so for me, in order for me to go out and walk in public, I would literally put on my headphones and I would put on like gangster rap or something. And I would tell them, you're a baddie, you're a baddie, you're a warrior. And I would project in my mind that I was already physically happy and healthy. Like that's the only way I could get through it. And one thing that I started to do that was game changing for me was as I was moving my body, whether it was walking a lap across the house or showering, I started to learn how to visualize all the things that I was carrying with me, all the negative thoughts, all the feelings. I would visualize it like leaving my body. So when I was showering, I would visualize the water washing it away. When I would go out walking, I would visualize the breath and the sweat was the toxic feelings, was the negativity. I would literally visualize everything. It's leaving my body. And so I started to act with intention, just like that doctor had told me. And I just started doing it instinctively. And I didn't know that I could do that. Just like we negatively program ourselves to reinforce all of our toxic behavior patterns when you're bigger, you can learn how to deprogram and reprogram yourself. And that's really what I had to do. It was like an intense boot camp, especially the first few years, because it took full commitment. When you're on a weight loss journey and you're like climbing a mountain, right? When you're 600 pounds, that seems impossible. And so I had to break down that mountain in little chunks and work on it over time. And in the beginning, you battle a lot more, and it's your own inner demons that you have to battle, but you have to you have to get to a place where you learn to empower yourself, and it's not easy at all.
Yeah.
No, it's a whole learning process. Like
It is.
it's kind of wild. And
Mhm.
so you saying that, like picturing like the sweat and everything.
Mm.
I actually, it just triggered me to believe, like, remember, literally I watched this YouTube video with this doctor, and they were saying that you actually lose weight not by just peeing and pooping and sweating, you also do it by breath.
Yes.
And so when I was in my hip hop classes, I would all of a sudden think of that and then just try to like focus on my breath, just like
Yeah.
going. So I was like,
Ah,
this is the other one.
Yes.
That's another pound.
Yeah. Yeah. And it takes you out of that hard place,
Yeah.
right? Because for me, every step was physically, it felt impossible at 600 pounds. And if you've been, it's okay.
Oh no.
I hit
You
something.
Yeah. No, she put her legs up and then
I saw her move.
she hit the mouse
And then it went.
and then it went away. And I'm like, it's fine, I got it. I do want to go back to what you were saying about society making it okay to comment on obese bodies,
Yes.
and bodies in general.
Yes.
Because I feel like our society loves to put us in these little boxes. You're skinny or you're fat.
Yep.
And no matter what box you're in, it's okay for other people to comment on your body.
Yes.
And just say, you need to lose weight, or you need to move more, eat less, or, oh, she's good. She's lost all of, like, she's skinny. She's gorgeous because she's skinny and she can be on covers of magazines. But if you're obese, you are ugly, you are fat.
Stay off our magazine.
Yeah. We don't even want to look you in the eye. And
Yeah.
when you said that the doctor, the cardiologist had walked in and looked you in the eye,
Mhm.
that's a huge thing for me, because when I remember being in an obese body and people wouldn't look me in the eye.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating because you're like, I may be bigger, but I still deserve respect. I still deserve to have human interaction. And our society has taught us that if you're fat, if you're obese, and also, I'm going to go on this little rant for a second. Up until last year, they were still thinking that obesity wasn't a disease.
Yeah.
Right.
So as a society, they had already made up their mind that obesity is your choice.
It's a social
your mistake.
construct. Yeah, it's a social construct and mindset of blame is what it is. It's holding the person accountable and blaming them for situations that are also biological and psychosocial. There are many factors that come into play when it comes to obesity. And you were saying about people not looking you in the eye. I literally, with intention, tried to remain invisible because I was shown in so many ways when I did go out in public that I was no one wanted to see me. People gave me looks of being repulsed. They would call me names. They would say things to me. So the social cues that I got from our culture were that I was not okay. I was far from okay. I should not be seen at all. Even at work, I've worked at the same school for 14, 15 years. And there was a handful of teachers who would even acknowledge my presence. 2 male staff members were even my friends. They're my friends to this day. But now, do you know, every man on campus holds the door open for me. They check me out. They make it a point to say hello to me, to tell me how beautiful I am. It is night and day the way that I am treated. But I will also acknowledge that when I was bigger, I didn't treat myself kindly. I also averted my gaze. I did not look for social interactions because I didn't feel that they were welcomed by other people. So I've learned to treat myself better, to have more respect for myself. And now I seek out social interactions. I intentionally try to make eye contact with people. I go up to people who I don't know. Now I welcome those things, but it's a full circle. It really is. We are taught that we are not okay and acceptable. And so then our behavior changes accordingly. So
yeah. And one other thing, and then I'll let you talk.
Okay.
Is the whole thing about you didn't look people in the eye either. I have noticed that so much. Like I will see an obese person and I'm the one searching for their eyes because I want to give them a smile. I want to show them that they're okay. And they straight down on the floor. They do not look at you. And it's
Yeah, you give me chills saying that, because every time whenever I see people who are obese, my first intention is I want to hug them and say, I got you, you're okay. I know how you feel, but obviously I don't.
I've been told I can't do those things either.
Yeah, exactly. Like you want to, you're coming from the best place, but you don't know their circumstance, their context of their life, but they won't, a lot of them don't want to make eye contact, or I see them avoiding that. And it breaks my heart, which is one of the main reasons why I decided to share my journey on social media, because for me, being vulnerable was terrifying. I remember when I went to post the video of my loose skin. No one had ever seen my loose skin, not a boyfriend that I was with, my family. No one had ever seen my belly. And after I had lost 360 pounds, I decided to make that video and show everyone. And I literally was like, oh my God, do I do this? I was like terrified. And then it went crazy viral, had like 30 or 40 million views. I had everything blowing up my phone. I was terrified. And I did get the full spectrum. I got crazy amounts of love and support, but I also got people who were horrible to me, who were mean, saying I was glorifying obesity and making it normal, and I was repulsive and I was a monster, and all the horrible, horrible things. But I did it because I know that millions of people could relate to that. I mean, the letters, the messages that I've gotten, the number of people who now show their skin on camera, who are like, hey, I'm going to do that, you know, and the people will message me and be like, I saw your video and that gave me courage to do it, you know? It was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my entire life.
For sure.
Well, and it's so powerful.
It is very powerful.
Like, look how much love you got. There's always going to be hate, no matter what you do. I mean, Taylor Swift gets hate.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
exactly.
And who could hate Tay
Who
Tay?
hates Tay? It's like, fucking get a hobby. What is your problem? But what I was going to say too with it's again going back to the eyes. Was I was actually had a conversation with my cousin Shell, and she was like, I was like, how's work going? And she's like, I love it. She's like, but I'm kind of like, they're avoiding me. And I looked at her, I'm like, they're avoiding you? And she's like, no, actually it's not. And I go, what do you mean? She's like, well, I'm really not putting off any vibe to come talk to me. And I'm kind of like shying away during breaks and doing these things. And I was like, that's exactly it. Because like I was taught at work when I worked for Wells Fargo that like it's important to look people in the eyes. You know, I had a manager that I loved, Alex Williams, shout out, you know, I love you, where you know everybody's first and last name and you look them in their eyes. And so we would walk around the whole place doing that. And then once I was like losing the weight, I realized how much more often I was getting eye contact back. And my brain was just like, I just blew up. I was like, oh my God. Okay. So now my mission is every time I see a bigger person, I see you before you even see me. I'm like in this corner, like making sure, and I see, and I lock. I just straight up, I look at you until you look at me, and I smile at you and wave because I know what it's like to actually want those smiles. I'm a very bubbly person and not get anything back. Like it is hurtful, and you don't even realize how much it's hurting until you get home or later on. You're like, why won't people just even acknowledge my presence? Like I'm here. I'm here and I'm nice and I want to help people. And then what it took was 120 pounds to be lost.
We are
now people listen.
To be invisible, right? We are socialized as bigger people to remain as invisible as possible, which goes into the whole thing with fashion. I remember wearing not only was I very limited with where I could buy clothes, but I wore cotton 8X stretchy black capris. That's all I could fit in. And an 8X top. And I just got like the 5 different colors in the top. But I never could play with fashion. I didn't even want to wear a bright color ever because I don't like, it's going to bring attention to me. And I didn't dare do my hair and makeup because God forbid I thought I looked pretty one day, even at 600 pounds, something would happen out in public to reassure me that I wasn't, like to put me in my fat place, basically is how I felt. Anytime I got any little bit of self-esteem or start feeling good about myself, something would happen, like someone throwing the food at me or calling me a name or you know, something like that. And it would just knock me back down into my place. It wasn't until I decided to basically break down those walls and no longer subscribe to that diet culture mentality, to that toxic obese mentality that we have in this country, that I started to finally feel free and started to identify all the ways in which I enslaved myself in my own body, but was also, contributing to maintaining that belief set in our culture. And it's horrible. So I love that you go out and you intentionally make eye contact. I do the same thing. And I feel like those are our sisters and brothers. And
Yeah.
they don't deserve to be made to feel like they need to be invisible at all. So I love that. Even if a little nod or a wave can make a difference in someone's day.
And you never know what they're going through. I've been through some crazy shit and I can still look like I'm fine. But when someone just acknowledges me and just it's a little boost.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and I think because my diseases are so invisible, like nobody knows what I go through on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I literally just talked to Katie about this the other day. Was she was like, nobody will ever understand what you go through on a day-to-day basis.
No.
Yeah.
When you park in a handicap spot because you're tired that day.
Yeah.
And people turn around and look at you and be like, should she be parking there?
Yeah.
It's like, no, I still I battle things that nobody else will know about.
Yeah.
You battle things that nobody else will know about. Yeah. And we're okay to use the resources that we want to do.
Oh, I know, because I get the looks when we get out of the car.
I know.
I always feel awkward, but now I don't even. I'm like, fuck it. Like, this is a real.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, I'm going to support her and fuck those people.
Yeah.
Because that's the entitlement. That's the entitlement that our country or our culture bestows upon people.
Yep.
If you fit into a certain box, you're healthy, you're happy, you make money, you're whatever, you're this, then you can judge people. You can make comments. You can make other people, you can reinforce those negative stereotypes. And I just don't subscribe to it anymore. It's not okay.
I know they give you a hall pass.
Yeah. I also, when you had said people came at you and was like, you're glorifying obesity and all of that. I mean, first off, you're not, because you're trying every single day to lose weight and become a healthier person.
Yes.
But also, I've noticed that there's a lot of now obese people coming at us and saying that we're making it not okay for them to be big.
I've gotten the same comments.
And it's so frustrating.
You can't win.
Like, you can't win with our society, because if you're this and you want to be this, then this side gets mad because you're not being like, it's such a mind fuck, because
it's
you're
frustrating.
I'm not saying that you can't be big. I'm not saying that I don't if you choose to do that, that's fine. If I choose to do this, it's fine. Let us just live our lives.
Yeah. People have a hard time doing that. Again, it's the entitlement with my opinion, my belief set. I can impose that on other people. And it's awful. That's not the way things should be at all. I get comments. I get people, because I am very open about saying that I was very unhappy at 600 pounds. I was not capable of thinking that I was beautiful at 600 pounds. So for me, I don't lie and say I looked gorgeous. I felt beautiful. There was never a time I did not feel beautiful, honestly, until maybe 6 months ago, after healing from my 47-pound skin removal. Even
47 pounds.
Yeah, I had 47 pounds of skin removed from my abdomen in December of last year. And it took me about six or 7 months to heal. Even during that time, even before the skin removal, I had lost 360 pounds. I did not feel beautiful. Why? Because when people saw me, they expected me to look skinny because I had lost so much, but I had 50 pounds of skin hanging from my abdomen. So they would make the comment to me, oh, wow, well, you still have all that. Like, you're still big. I was still wearing size 1820 or something. And so to people, they're like, wow, you're still really big. And I'm like,
bro,
I would be like, bro, I couldn't even speak. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And trying to even think about dating with having that hanging apron hanging down, I knew no matter what, that was going to be a hindrance to me, not only physically, but emotionally and in every single way. So when I tell you, I was raised to think that I was not pretty, that I never would be. And so for me, it's been a battle to even acknowledge now, like, oh, I look pretty. Like I still stop every day when I get up in my mirror and I'm like, oh my God, I'm skinny. Like I'm thin. And I wear size 14, 16, but to me, that is real thin. That is skinny. And it's shocking to me. And I literally have to make an intention every day to tell myself that I'm pretty. My boyfriend and I, we've been together 6 months, and he has to tell me every day, baby, you're worthy. You're gorgeous. Like, you are worthy of because I don't internalize it still. I'm still struggling. When you lose that much weight, in such a short amount of time, your brain does not catch up to the changes that are in your body. So what did he say this morning? He was like, don't shrug it off. He told me I was so cute. And I was like, and he goes, no, literally has to stop me. And he's like, no, baby, you're gorgeous. You're so cute. And I have to stop and go, thank you. Thank you. Like, I literally have to make an intention to accept a compliment. And that speaks volumes for our culture and how we treat people who are obese. The fact that someone who's in love with me, that I live with, that I know loves me, I feel it. I can't even internalize a compliment from him because I have been so brainwashed and trained by society to feel that I have no value because I'm not skinny.
Yeah. When I got told I was gorgeous for the first time, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Right? There's some ulterior motive there. What do you want from me?
Every time.
Yeah.
Every
I mean, even my boyfriend will be like, God, you're so sexy. And I'm like, I don't see it. Like, that's my first reaction is to say, I don't see it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could be sexy. Like,
you know, I just realized
what?
My own husband never told me I was gorgeous.
Well, there's a reason why he's an ex-husband.
I know, but wild. I didn't even think. I was like going through the Rolodex of compliments. He's complimented me.
I've never gotten that.
But in my brain, I was like, Adam was the first one to tell me I was gorgeous. No wonder why I was hooked so quickly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, Zach compliments me all the time. All the time. And I love it.
Yeah.
But then it has you take an inner look, because I'm with you. Like, when my ex-husband left me, my mindset was at an all-time low. Like, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I liked. I didn't know anything. And when I started therapy, it was also at an all-time low. I told myself I didn't deserve to lose weight again. I didn't deserve to look pretty. My mindset was so bad. And then now I'm having to swap that. Yeah. And I notice the little things, like, you know, Zach will call me gorgeous or sexy. And I'm like, I don't see it. And then I have to stop myself and be like, well, maybe that's how he sees me.
Exactly.
And I need to stop myself from not accepting that compliment just because I don't look the way I thought I would look.
Yeah.
You're gorgeous.
But to him, I'm gorgeous. And I didn't need to lose my regain to be gorgeous.
Yeah.
He thought I was gorgeous the whole time.
Yeah. It's the lens through which you view yourself. It's not the lens through which my boyfriend Mike views me. The lens through which I view myself, I've been through everything that I've just shared with you guys. And so that has given me all these cracks in my view of myself. So I am not able at all times to see all of the beauty, all of the value, all of the things that I bring to the table just as a human being. But he sees all of those things in me. And the more I allow myself to internalize his view of me, the better I feel about myself, the happier, the more secure I feel in the relationship and in myself, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Like a peaceful thing.
Yeah, it is a peaceful thing. Are you in therapy?
I am now. Yes.
Yes.
I had done it off and on over the years. But I recently started going to therapy, and it's been a game changer for me. And I actually started going to therapy to help me put boundaries in place, because I am a person who is a people pleaser, and my life was very enmeshed with my family, which is great. But I have come to a place in my life where I wanted to date for the first time in over 20 years. And I didn't know how to create that space for myself. And so I started going to therapy. And when I started, I really thought, like, when I met my boyfriend, I had told him, I was like, you need to get your ish together. Like, you got to get yourself. And he was like, little miss, like, what? And I was like, I have myself together. And then I was like, wait, oh my God, I don't. And then I realized, wait a second, I'm still a hot mess. I may have made a lot of improvements, but I was like, oh my God, I don't have it all together. And I realized, like, therapy's been amazing for me. It's really been helping me so much.
Oh,
yeah.
good. Yeah. It's that kind of that missing puzzle piece for most people.
Yeah, because they don't realize, like, how important it is to be able to, like, brain dump.
Yeah.
You have to get it out. It's just like working any other muscle. It
Yeah.
literally, you have to do it.
Yeah.
Because like, I feel 10 times better because I just went back, 2 months ago now?
And
It's gotten a lot better because I'm not
Yeah.
just holding everything in like
yeah.
I used to.
And she tends to like, when she holds it all in, then she explodes.
Yeah.
And so I am usually the recipient of that explosion.
You
Because
probably
we already
feel the safest with you, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
She knows I'm not
Yeah.
going anywhere.
Yeah.
So like
Mhm.
we're here and she can blow up at me and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to shut down for a little bit and then we can talk about it later. But
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's good because now
So
you're able to talk about those little things that are coming up. You're not holding
Yeah.
on to it. And then, I mean, there hasn't been blow ups since you started back in therapy.
I know.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That's a huge win.
So I wanted to
Huge
go
win.
back. It's not a tiny bit, quite a bit, because I don't know, how'd you find your office? Like, what weight were you at when you got?
Yeah.
to your
What
office?
made you decide to have
Yeah,
surgery?
because like, yeah.
So my medical doctor, my primary care doctor was like, you need to have weight loss surgery. You need to have weight loss surgery. And I was like, okay, sure. I agreed. And I had no intentions of following through at all.
Oh,
You're that big. You kind of just say whatever the doctor wants to hear while you're there. Yeah, I'll change my eating habits. I'll do this.
Yeah.
But it was that I was turning 40 and they had told me I wasn't going to live to see 45. And at that same time was when I met the cardiologist. And
Okay.
because everything coincided at the same time, they were like, okay, if you can lose 30 pounds, we'll put you in the pre-op program and then you can have bariatric surgery.
Okay.
And so this is why I'm 6 years into my journey, but I'm 5 years into bariatric surgery. But I started like 8 months prior to having bariatric surgery. And instead of losing 30 pounds before, I lost 180. Lost 180 pounds before, which when you are over 600 pounds, you make little changes and the weight will come off very rapidly. Which it did for me. I met my surgeon in, I believe it was February. I have pictures on my fridge of that day, like when they took and everything. And when I met them, they were like, wow, you've lost a lot of weight. Okay, let's lose 30 more. And I think the day of my surgery, I was like 420 pounds. No one in my family wanted me to have bariatric surgery. Everybody was totally against it. The mindset is, well, you lost 180 pounds naturally. So why do you need to have bariatric surgery? And for me, I was so new into the journey and new to working on my mental and emotional health that I knew if any little thing had happened, if somebody had passed away or some kind of trigger, I would fall out of those that healthy behaviors because they were still so new to me.
Yeah.
And so I really believed that weight loss surgery would be a great tool for me at that time. And it was the best thing I'd ever done. I needed that backup tool in order to help me while I was laying the foundation for lifelong sustainable healthy habits and behaviors that I still have in place today. I've kept the weight off now. I'm 6 years into my journey. I'm at my lowest weight. I'm like between 160 and 165 pounds. I haven't weighed that since like third grade. Yeah, like third grade was like the last time I weighed.
Wow, congrats.
Thank you. But you know, it's the mental and emotional burden that I feel free from. The more I've learned how to manage my emotions and my behaviors and things like that, I see that keeping the weight off comes naturally to me. It's when I don't allow myself to process things or cope, or when I don't engage in self-reflection when something happens, that I find myself struggling in any way. And anytime I've hit a plateau or anything like that throughout my weight loss journey, I always do like a little self-assessment, like mind, body, soul for me. Am I taking care of my mind? Am I meditating? Am I journaling? Am I practicing my deep breathing? Am I doing those things? And then I go through my mind. If I'm not doing one of those things, it's usually where I'm falling short. And then I go through and I check, how is my diet? Am I putting nutritious foods in my body? Am I hitting my protein goals? Am I eating things that are aligned with my goals? And I kind of go through that. How is my movement? Because I'm a person that is a people pleaser, am I not putting my movement as a priority? So I literally go through and do a little self-assessment. And for me, 9 times out of 10, the category that is lacking is my soul work, is my meditation, my journaling, my breath work, anything like that is usually what goes first, right? Because when you're rushing around and you're busy, oh, I don't have time to meditate today. I don't have time to walk. And so whenever I'm struggling, I literally go back and I can go, okay, this is where I started falling off because I wasn't practicing what I preach. I wasn't doing my self-care. So that's been very helpful for me.
Well, and I want to say to those that keep saying this naturally part for like a hot second, just because you pinpointed the one thing that people forget is that, like, yeah, you lost 180 pounds. That's amazing. But also, you didn't have the tools yet to handle those like trauma situations that are going to happen.
Yeah.
Because that's why we see people do the yo-yo dieting all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's not because they can't do the diet. It's because life happens and a huge event could happen and then it throws them out and they have no idea how to get back.
Yeah.
And now what's great about us having the surgery is like we have a tool to kind of keep us in check for a couple of years.
Yes. Yeah.
So that way we can learn the habit of how do we manage when we get a divorce or a family member dies or your kid fucking won't go to school and gets bad grades. Like I could be eating all of those situations and get myself back up to 308 pounds. But like because of the first 3 or 4 years, you have to do a lot of mind work.
You gotta figure it out.
The self-reflection, I'm glad that you brought that up because it's really important because I talk to myself all the time. And it got louder and louder as I was more on my journey. And I noticed it first in the fitness when I was working out. And then as I was at home and things were happening with because I was going to college and working full time. So like I was trying to pretty much walk myself through any situation. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without the surgery. If I didn't have that tool, that wouldn't have helped me figure out all these habits that I have to like and really work on and use every day. And so it's naturally common. It's like I'm still fucking doing naturally. I'm just now have a tool to keep me in check. It's really all it is.
Well, and I want to put out there also that when you don't do that work, that's what happens when you regain.
Yes.
Because I didn't do any of that. I didn't do any of that. What she's describing, when I first went through it, I didn't do any of that. I just wanted to be skinny.
Yeah.
And I didn't care how I needed to get to that point, but I wanted to be skinny. And guess what? I got there.
You did.
I got there. But then the moment that my ex-husband left me, I spiraled so hard and I had gained so much weight so quickly. And I was at 60 pounds. I had gained back half of what I had lost. And that's when the mindset came in of therapy, working with a dietitian, doing my journaling. You know, also, yes, I was on a GLP-1 medication, which helped my brain, my food brain shut up.
Yeah.
But I had to do it with working on my mindset. I couldn't just go back to the habit of just eating small amounts because I was 2 years out.
Well, and you do hear people that go on GLP-1s and don't do the mindset work.
Yes.
And then now all of a sudden say their insurance stops and now they can't afford it.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden they're having regain because they never worked on the mindset.
Yeah. And like I could go off my meds. Like I could go off of it and I feel very strongly that I would be able to maintain that purely because therapy, dietitian work. I also found out I have ADHD. I'm also doing all these different things. And now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now I'm doing those things that I should have done in the beginning. So when you're going through that pre-op class and they're saying, oh, you need to pay attention to this. You need to pay attention to this. Pay the fuck attention. Sit down.
Really do.
Shut up. Do the work.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason why they're saying it. It's not just to hear themselves.
You'll reap so much more benefit. If you do the work up front, then you're going to have all the success on the other end.
Yep. And it's less likely that you will regain in the future.
Exactly.
Well, here's the thing with food. Unlike alcohol or drugs or gambling, you can't go without food for the rest of your life.
Correct.
Yeah.
You have to somehow manage to maneuver through life, like you've all said, and all the various things that happen through life while learning how to create a new relationship with food. Anybody who comes for me and having weight loss surgery, I'm like, I'm an equal member of both communities. I have lost 180 pounds naturally, and I've lost over 200 pounds post weight loss surgery. And I would do it again in a heartbeat. And I would recommend to anybody that if they felt that they needed the additional support to work on themselves and to go through their journey, to get weight loss surgery, go through the process, commit to really changing your life, do the work in the beginning, because if you do the work in the beginning, you do all the grunt work, it's going to be easier for you when life happens. You're going to have tools in order to maneuver through that without seeing your entire life implode. And that's, I really feel so strongly about that, which is why a lot of my content has always been mind, body, soul. It's not just this is what I eat. People always message me, tell me your exact diet. What was the exact workout that you did? And I'm like,
we can't do that.
You're missing the point.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how I handled working with my grief. Let's talk about how I handle my stress, how I don't go through the fast food on the way home anymore and buy 15 different things, how I rerouted my entire journey to work so that I wouldn't emotionally trigger myself. All of those things, that is all the work that sets the tone for your diet, for your exercise, for everything in your life.
Well, and missing the point, like they miss the point because they're not ready to work on themselves. They are not ready to actually do the mindset work. And I'm so glad you brought that up, because yes, you've lost so much weight and your journey is incredible, but it's not about the food or the workout or it's not about that. It's about
those are all symptoms and side effects.
Yes. And like listening to you through this whole episode, the incredible work, because it is fucking hard to change your life, and not just like food. Changing your life, your brain, changing your mindset, changing, okay, I'm gonna walk from here to there instead of like taking the easy route more than likely. Like it's those changes, and that's fucking hard. And so if you are just asking for what do I eat and how do I exercise and let me get this surgery, that's not what you need. And you will, and I'm sorry, this may be controversial, but you will more than likely gain the weight back. You will be one of those statistics that you will gain your weight back, because you aren't doing, you're missing the point of the tool. The tool is there to help you.
I'm almost 6 years post-op in June. And so my restriction, I had gastric bypass surgery. When I first had surgery, I was, for maybe 5 or 6 months, I could barely eat 500 or 600 calories. I'm almost 6 years post-op. Guess what? If I want to eat a lot more, I can eat a lot more. I can choose to open my refrigerator and then close it and go to fast food. But I don't do that because I have created healthy routines and behaviors. I, for example, store all of my food in mason jars. All of it is my ingredient. I don't meal prep, but I ingredient prep. Why do I do that? Because at 600 pounds, when I went into my fridge, my vegetables would be there dying in a bag from the grocery store, and I would never touch them, right? If I went into my kitchen and it took any amount of effort for me to make a meal, I would not do it. I would order fast food. Now, when you walk into Theresa's kitchen, you're going to see everything visually accessible, all in mason jars, prepped and ready to go. I do that because I need the visual reminders. Hey, this is the life that you live now. You're organized, you're ready, you have all these healthy things. You don't need to go and drive to Taco Bell or order a pizza because it doesn't mean that occasionally my boyfriend and I don't order out or we don't eat out. But that is a sometimes behavior. My everyday, all the time behavior is always focused on maintaining the life that I have worked so hard to create now. And that would not be possible had I not laid the foundation in the beginning and done all of the work.
I just want to say you are an incredible, beautiful human.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
You seriously, like, and I said this in the beginning, I have followed you since the start of mine. And there was something about you that just like made me want to do what you were doing. But as I've gotten to know you and watched you grow and learn and all of these things, like you really are an incredible human.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that you share your story with everybody else, because others need to know that you've been where they've been and they can do it too. And I love that.
It's just so important.
It is important.
So freaking important.
Yes.
You know, I don't know if you have seen that movie, The Whale, but I saw
I did,
Brendan Fraser when he did his acceptance speech. he made a comment about the fact that that person was in the dark for so long. And that's how I felt. I felt as though I was living in the darkness in this horrible, lonely place by myself for so long. And the reason I, with intention, try to shine my light so brightly is because I want other people to see that, like the ship in the night, and be like,
Yeah.
oh my God, okay, she's right there. This is somebody who did what I want to do. So let me go check her out. Let me watch her videos. Let me follow her. Let me see if she has something to offer my heart and soul. And that's literally why I share my journey, even through the hardest moments in my life. I want to be that light for people. And I'm just honestly so grateful and blessed that I have this platform, that I get to meet amazing people like you, and that I can now focus my life on uplifting other people. That's what I feel like I'm meant to do. I thought it was through working as a teacher and working in special education, which has given me the tools as well to do this. But that's what I'm meant to do. I want to be able to help other people and act as that light for others. So
you're a lighthouse.
You really are. And you're doing it. So you
Thank
made
you.
it. You made it.
You are
Thank
helping people, whether you know it or not. You are helping a lot of people by sharing your journey.
Thank
And
you.
I'm going to switch the topic real quick.
Okay. I know where you're going, so.
Well, of course, because being in a body that you were in, you know, is very hindering. And I'm very sure that sexy time wasn't on the table.
No, I had not had sex in since I was 22.
Wow.
Okay.
22 to 40.
45.
45. Okay.
Wow.
How is sex, lady? How is it going? You are
it's amazing.
I know our face is so red right now because you've lost over 380 pounds.
Yes.
And you got your plastic surgery done.
Yes, I've lost.
Now, things aren't hanging. Like, how's it going?
No, I've lost 460 pounds altogether. And my boyfriend and I mean, it's next level. It's my energy level is nonstop. I mean, we have sex twice a day, 3 times a day, every day, basically for the entire time we've been together.
Well, make up for 20 years.
We've been together for 6 months, and we only have spent maybe 10 or 12 nights apart from each other. And that's when I've had to travel. I've been staying with him for months. And it's so weird. Sexy time is amazing. I never thought that my body could do all the things that it does now. I never, but like experiencing those things, being physically intimate and close with somebody is the best feeling in the world. It's so funny because when I lay on him, we sleep like this every night, but when I am sleeping on his chest, that's where I feel home. That's when we did that for the first time. We were like, oh my God, like we knew immediately that this was like a thing, but we were very connected, and it's just been incredible. So for me, he is my home now, and I feel safe with him, and so we can explore all different aspects of our relationship. But sex is people are always like, you're glowing, and I'm like, yes, I am.
You're getting laid 2 to 3 times a day. I mean, who's not going to be glowing about that?
Your bell's being rung all the time.
Constantly. And I love it. And I have so much energy. It's incredible. He's 5 years younger than me too. So
wow.
Which I did not expect. We met on Match.com, and he was my first like date from Match.
Oh, wow.
And we went out and we were like, oh my God. I was like, who is this guy? It was just the craziest thing. But like, we both feel like we manifested each other in our lives. He was recovering from cancer. He had cancer and was through chemo and everything last year. And we came into each other's lives at a point where we were both done with all the BS. We just wanted to find somebody that was like, we felt like was our soulmate, and we connect. And it's not just sex for us, which is amazing, but like, we feel very deeply in love with each other. Like, it's just the most incredible thing. And I tell him all the time, I never thought I was going to have that. with intention, removed myself from the world. During my reproductive years, I could never have kids. I'm past that point. I didn't get married. I didn't allow myself to date and do all of those things. And so to be doing them now when I feel the most happy and healthy I've ever felt. And this man makes me feel gorgeous and sexy on a daily basis. I've never felt that in my entire life. And I still work on internalizing that and believing it. But he reminds me a million times a day that I'm beautiful, that I'm everything, my eyes, my hair, my clothes. Like, it's incredible. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Super.
Oh, I love it.
All right. All right. We can't go further than that. Like, I literally, like, that was the perfect ending right there.
It really is.
It really
I'm
is.
so happy for you because you
Thank
deserve
you.
all the happiness
All
and
of it.
love. And
Thank
I'm
you.
so happy that you took charge of your life.
Yeah.
And now you get to share with others and help them. And we got to meet you.
Yeah.
Yay.
And-
I loved meeting you guys in person and hanging out and chatting with you. You guys
I
are
can't wait.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to do it again.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Where are
Yes.
you at again?
I'm in California. I was in Long Beach for 24 years, but I just
We're going
moved.
down there.
Yeah, but I'm in Orange County now. I live
Okay.
with my boyfriend in Orange County. I just officially moved in,
Yeah.
turned in my keys yesterday. So
Oh,
I'm
shit.
Yeah. Oh, you weren't listening to that part. She told me
Yeah.
that part.
Oh, I was
Yeah,
fiddling
you were
around.
fiddling. So can we go to Disney?
Oh my God, I would love that. I have not been to Disney since senior ditch day in high school. The only thing I've done, I went to Universal Studios on a field trip with our kiddos in May, and I bawled my eyes out on the ride for the first time when the thing goes down on you. I was sobbing. I had the best time. So I would love to do a Disney trip. That would be amazing.
Okay, let's do it. Let's plan it because
We'll figure it out.
I have been missing Disney in my life. I haven't been since February last year.
That's true.
It's too long. It's too long,
It's too
guys.
long
See
for
a
you.
year.
It's too long. I mean, if I had my way, I would be in Disney every couple of months because it makes me happy.
The school that I work at is a mile from Disney. We go to downtown Disney for like field trips, and I have not been, even with all the weight loss. Like, I need to go to Disney.
My God. Okay, we're making this a thing. We're flying down because you're
That'd
not
be so
that far
fun.
from us.
You're not far.
Yay.
We're
Yeah, you're in
literally.
Oregon, right?
Yeah. This
Yeah,
is
we're
like
West Coast girls.
an hour.
West Coast girls. We got to do it.
Okay, we're gonna make it happen, and we're gonna go
Yay.
soon because I want some.
And
Disney.
you know what's actually really cool, Kelly?
What?
I haven't been to Disneyland
That's right.
since I was 6 years old. No, 5 years old. So all of this will be completely
Okay, we're
new.
going.
We got to
That's
get Tanya to fly to California.
Yeah.
So the four of us can go.
Can you work on her and then
I'll talk to her. Yeah.
We'll get us in a group chat and we'll
Yeah.
start sending dates.
Yeah, because
love
seriously, I literally could leave like in a week. Like, I want to go so bad.
That would be so much fun. All right, we'll make it happen.
We're manifesting.
Yay.
I'm always happy when a Disney trip's on the
I
on
know.
the
Right?
cards.
Well, thank you, Teresa, for making
Yes,
today and
thank
our
you.
day.
You guys.
Yes.
And everybody, if you're not watching this, what the fuck?
Go over to
YouTube. Just hit the bell, hit subscribe. You get to see us while we're chatting away with Teresa. It's a free way of helping your girls. And don't forget to go to our website. We have lots of fun freebies up there.
Yes, go to the website, oursleeplifepodcast.com, and then also go to Patreon/OSLP because you want to become a patron because there's sweet benefits. And like, you could have been watching this the whole time because
A week earlier.
patrons get it a week early. So like, hello, do it.
Fan.
But yes, and we thank you so much, Theresa, for being on. We are so internally grateful that you shared your story with us and that you continue to share it with the whole community. And everyone else out there, we love you, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.